he would always get like the wrong bracket, or he'd get the wrong guy in the semi-finals. I felt like that always held him back.
And here we are, we're going into pavel and SOTHIS, and looks like SOTHIS is going to get the red armor, rail, and yellow start as pavel gets the LG. So SOTHIS really needs to be playing for the next red. Actually, he's going to go low position to hide to these pillars, which is dangerous. Because if pavel had gone directly for the LG, he could get caught out very badly here, but that risk doesn't seem to hurt him. Manages to get himself the lightning gun. So this gives him the ability to kind of just run straight onto the red, but he's getting kind of zoned out by pavel now. Pavel's by far in just a superior position in every sense right now. He picks up the red, he's going to get some LG damage. This is really bad for SOTHIS. He has to save himself with sheer execution, and it's not going to happen at all. Pavel will get the kill. He's going to get Mega. This is already looking like Cooler versus Keenan from the last game already.
Oh, he doesn't even get the Mega because he killed him as he was going over.
Yeah, this is bad. This is really bad. At least it's not Cure, so it's a map that you have probably seen before. So that is something that's going to help out. Although I think you aptly made the comparison with the Info and Cure. We had a lot of interesting discussion going back and forth there. But pavel's in a position right now where SOTHIS, sure, he has 85 points of armor, but he has the ability to challenge for anything major. And pavel, he takes a head-on fight, which should have gone in his favor, but the element of surprise and some good execution coming in from SOTHIS evens up the situation almost. In fact, it does bring him into a stack advantage. However, pavel with the red pickup and the yellow is going to now be looking for... I mean, pavel's someone who is very happy to defend a lead. Yeah. He's quite content if he's got that one frag lead to just be like, okay.
I mean, this is a good map to do it on as well.
Control. And you can have control, and I'll just keep my 150 armor, and I'll work the yellows, and you can have everything else. I'm fine with that. Because I know I'll hit the first rocket when you come around the corner to even it up. So I would be expecting something like that from pavel. He doesn't tend to do any kind of risky sneak plays onto big items. It doesn't usually tend to be what he would.
Well, the thing is, this is a map as well where if you have the score advantage, the key items are far enough away from each other that you can just use sound triggers to constantly be as far away from the opponent as possible if you want.
Yeah. And that was actually a beautifully engineered fight from pavel. You can see the level of efficiency.
Well, now he's going to just force him off this red and take it.
Yeah, that was actually that play from pavel. That's like when I was making my YouTube series of Quake Live plays. That would be like a play that I'd isolate from pavel just because of how kind of well thought out it was and how well he executed it and how well it went, because that's the kind of stuff that you should be doing consistently. And pavel, again, he's not someone that will take, it will be too risky. He's not someone that's, you know, like a player that's very focused on aim. He's a player that is kind of focused on decision making. So it's quite clear that to him there was no risk there to go for the commitment. And so pavel's going to basically
that doesn't help matters.
Yeah, so there's not having a good time here. Pavel's out just killing him completely.
Well, I mean, you know, he knew it was inevitable, so he thought, you know, I'll just commit suicide. You know, he's like,
sometimes it can work out. I mean,
he just like swore fealty to Lord Pavel there. He's like, I realised that to defy you would be a mistake. So
yeah, it's quite funny. I mean, there's sometimes I think I remember Backseam playing against someone in I can't remember which game it was. It was really long ago, like maybe 7 months ago.
Okay, that long ago.
Yeah, 7-8 months ago. Backseam was playing a game on this map, and he actually killed himself with a rocket launcher, like completely purposely. He instantly realized, if I kill myself now, I spawn an item. Yeah. And even though I lose a frag, that gives me the time in the minute remaining of this game to actually come back and tie it up and win. He actually managed to do. He actually managed to tie it up. He didn't manage to win, but you could see the genius of it, because most people, they'll look at it after and think, oh, you know, I should have done that. But he instantly thought of a very unconventional and an innovative play, and that's actually one of the reasons why it's very sad that we don't see more of him. And actually, I'm delving off topic here, but it is like, once again a similar situation as previous with Cooler and Guinan, whereby it's somewhat textbook from pavel here. We can see that he's just running items and just constantly making sure that he is in a superior position to his opponent, because he can kind of control, he can play on his terms and control what fights his opponent can take. So it's very simple for him. SOTHIS, though, has built up some armor. So SOTHIS is looking for something now. He's got 120 armor. This could be bad if he goes for a commitment here. He doesn't want to commit. He just wants to delay pavel. Both big items are up, red and mega. So he just has to figure out, he has to force Pavel to a decision. That's enough now. He's going to go for the commitment here. He actually gets a fantastic rocket and a rail combination onto Pavel, but he's forcing himself down. Look at this, Pavel's now got position on red.
It was really well backed out there. You notice every time he made a move, he was also like simultaneously setting up his next shot as he did it, and he did it like piecemeal as he backed out the room.
And this is the thing, like SOTHIS there, he got greedy. After hitting that first shot, that gave him the red. He can go and take the red now and have a stack advantage, but instead he goes for a risky play where then he has to execute a series of shots, which you can't really rely upon, instead of taking the safer play where he comes out ahead every time.
I mean, the thing with people like Cooler and Pavel is they're almost control freaks to the extent that players like Cypher, or even players like a Strengths or Dahang, part of the way they play the game is they almost sort of like embrace the fact that there is chance in Quake and there is chaotic elements and there are things where you don't understand how it's going to go. But they think, okay, I just have to try and get the better of those fights. Whereas people like Cooler and Pavel, okay, they know those exist, but they want to limit them as much as possible, and they want to, everything they can control, they want to exert maximum control over that, so that the chance element is so incredibly small.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. I mean, to me, I enjoy that method of play more because I think it's more interesting.
It's more interesting to watch from like a cerebral level.
Yeah.
Especially as what's interesting is it will never be the dominant style of play. Like, there'll never be the majority of players play like that. And so you'll always see the other style, and what's interesting is getting to see the interaction of the two styles play each other. That's why when you saw like Cypher versus Rafa, it was always such an amazing matchup, even if it was one-sided sometimes, because it was almost like a philosophical difference in how to play the game. Whereas when you watch Rafa versus Cooler, that's incredible as well, but that's not really incredible for the aiming skills and the fights. That's incredible for the mental side of the game of what's going on.
I do like that, the philosophical difference. That is actually a very poetic way to put it, in fact. I mean, SOTHIS in amongst what you're saying, they did actually manage to get a frag onto Pavel, but again, Pavel's operating with the lead, and SOTHIS is under pressure to win back that lead, and now he's got that pressure of the clock.
And you notice even when Pavel has the stack and has the armors, etc., he doesn't just run to the next that big item and wait for it. He's like quiet, he's trying to hear what the other guy's doing, he's trying to even position, even when in theory he's in control. He doesn't want to exert control in the same way that other people do. I mean, with the time left now as well, he knows that he can also just use the lead to win. He doesn't need to actually have fights from now on.
This is one of the areas where Pavel's very, very strong, because he's incredibly comfortable with this. Again, it's a situation where the way you think about it is not how much stack I have, but it's more or less how the situation gives me an effective kind of equal stack. Even though if you look at it, okay, Pavel's got 100 less armor resources or whatever it is. But he's like, okay, well, I know that I will hit the first rocket because you have to go into a position which is so horrible for you, and I know exactly where you have to move. So that means I have damage there.
Oh, look at this! He just.
That was I'm very surprised that he got out of that situation. SOTHIS.
I mean, he shouldn't have been able.
No, yeah, you're completely right. There's no way he should have been able to get out of that. But he did manage to do so, and SOTHIS still has a superior stack. He's going to drop down onto Pavel, but he does hit a very nice kind of quick switch to rail there. But it's very awkward, very awkward for him. And Pavel's going to get away on the higher levels.
I mean, Pavel's actually pretty good at juking the guy, if you notice. Like he allows you to take a shot into him, but he's going to do it in such an awkward way that, like, when you miss, it's even more annoying, and then he's probably still going to get out alive. You know, he's like sort of calculating the odds in his mind. Like, I can take one rail shot as I move out of here, so I have to move in a way where I might take a rail shot, but then I still get out. I don't take two, you know.
Yeah, then he has position as well. Yeah, that's exactly what he did there. It's really interesting, actually, when you look at it from that perspective. So Pavel definitely a mastermind of this, and every time you watch him play, he's always characterized by his awareness of positioning and how he uses rockets to more effectively get better positions.
I mean, what I've liked about this game is that it's making me want to see the match of Pavel versus Cooler now, because if it's a good strategical map, then you know we're in position to actually see something quite interesting. Like, I'd love to see these two play either on this map or on ZTN. I think that would be like a really good matchup.
Yeah, it's one of those matchups. But the thing is that I think Pavel has this psychological issue when he's playing some of those top dogs. I don't know what it is, but I don't know. I really don't know with Pavel. He is one of those people to me that is a conundrum. Complete conundrum when I watch him play against the better players. But he's actually losing frags here in the closing moments of this match. But the thing is that he should be able to run the clock away and slow spawn his way to victory now. And everything should be okay. But SOTHIS, you know, he's definitely demonstrated that he's able to keep himself in the game against someone like Pavel. And Pavel's been playing a very strong game fundamentally. He's been making a lot of good decisions, and he even, I mean,
look at Pavel's stats there. Like, those are terrible stats on the weapons. And yet, when you watch the game, he was like in control. He was winning the game at nearly all points. Oh, yeah, he just had the other guy mentally crushed the whole time.
He did 800 less damage than his opponent. so this was vastly out-damaging him. But Pavel had way more items. He was able to get only 3 megas for SOTHIS. Pavel was able to take 11. So he had a massive resource. And that really, what it says to you is positioning. That's everything right there, is positioning. And because that's the only way, if your opponent's hitting more than you, that you're able to actually take items. Because otherwise, that doesn't work. So Pavel, out-positioning SOTHIS there and proving to be a stronger player overall. So that's going to be that match. Is there anything else you want to say about it before we move on?
I think that was pretty much it all. We had a solid diversion talk about Cooler there.
We did.
In a match that didn't actually feature Cooler. But
yeah, that's always going to happen.
Don't worry about it.
Speaking of which, we are going to be moving into the quarterfinals, I do believe, and Pavel should be playing Cooler next, so I'm hoping that we can get that match to watch.
Well, no need to interrupt our discussion about Cooler, then we'll just continue.
Exactly, and it should be the best match of the quarterfinals. So, arguably Ash
and it's best of 3 now, yeah?
Yes, exactly. And I mean, the only other great match, I think, particularly amazing match, should be Sparty Faz in the quarterfinals. But I think Pavel Cooler is going to be something that people want to watch more. So, actually, Faz and Sparty have also a history of really great games, but nevertheless, we'll go to a quick break, guys. When we come back here on FACEIT TV, we will have the next match, which should be a quarterfinal game, best of 3. Stay tuned.